Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. Learn from failures. Learn from failures. The reality is, no matter how successful a person is in life, they've had some failures. They failed at something. You know, they tried some project, it didn't work. They got a bad grade. They, lost that mate they thought they were in love with. May have lost quite a few, Hey, credit card might have got turned down. I mean, seriously, it's myriad failures. There's no shame in them. Well, no, I take that back. The only shame is if you keep repeating the same failure. That's the shame. You need to learn from a failure in order to, A, see what the lesson is, but B, not to repeat it. And that's the thing, you got to say, don't even look at it as a failure. Like if, say you working on, you got a business baking cakes. Or better yet, let me do something more personal, making buffalo wings. And you trying to sell it. And you test some people out, say, hey, try these wings. And they like, now some people might see that as a failure. Somebody else will say, oh, let me put something different. Let me put some different seasoning on it. Let me do some different things. And then they'll get $1 million. They all of a sudden, they not only got $1 million buffalo wings, but they got several restaurants selling it. I mean, seriously, if you look at anybody, like if you were to read the histories of anyone successful, they can point to when they failed at something. And they look at it with fondness because they say, okay, we went in a different direction. We did something different. Because once you learn from it, see, if you fail at something, the thing is to look at it. Say, okay, I failed. Why did I fail? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What should I have done better? And then do it. And then maybe, you know what, you could fail again. But some people will say, oh, I ain't meant to do this. No, if you have a calling to do that, you're supposed to, but you're just supposed to figure out how to do it right. So you still learn from that. Every little thing, even if it's a tiny failure, it was like, oh, okay, oh, wow, okay, I need to pay attention to this, It could be anything. It could be anything. It's like, oh, okay. And indeed, I said, failures don't mean to give up on something, but sometimes a failure might be telling you this ain't for you. Because sometimes people will try stuff, maybe just to make money or something, and they fail at it. That could be the lesson too. There are no real mistakes. Like I said, I take that back. I mentioned it earlier. The only real mistake and the bad thing is if you fail at something and then you keep doing the same thing over and over. You didn't learn the lesson. And that's the thing. And we all do it. Anybody who say they haven't failed at something in life, they lying. If they're an adult, they failed at something. They failed at something. I was thinking about when my youngest son started walking. He never really crawled. He never really crawled. I have a hard time, me and his mother have a hard time remembering when he actually crawled. He would literally just stand up and fall. And then laugh and then try it again and then fall. And to the point he was just like, ooh. He walked early too. I think he was earlier than average, like at 8 months. He didn't really crawl, but he kept going. He's laughed about it. Every single one of us had to crawl at first. Well, most of us. And then learn to stand, learn to really walk, learn to run. And we had our stumbles. We all had our stumbles. We've all fell down. There's no shame in it. But like I learned in a freshman football practice session, it's like there's no shame in falling. You just got to get right back up, but you learn. They say, oh, okay, you got me. Even though, or speaking of you got me, that's what I'll say, like if somebody plays somebody, like in a relationship. It was like, all right, you played me, you got me. My mouth is open, my mouth is open. You're like, oh, okay. That ain't gonna happen a second time. You learn from it. You learn from it. And that's in everything. When you're learning how to cook. Very few people have started out cooking right away. Very few people just got in there and they just had that perfect meal. Like that meal, you know, you look at your fingers with and stuff. It was like, man, you getting seconds. You know, many parents know that too. Their kids cook something for them and they ate it because it's their kids, but they know if they had a dog, they gave the dog something. The dog was like, But then that same kid might grow up to be like a world-renowned chef because they didn't give up. They learned how to make it better. In fact, that's the best way to teach a child. You know, when they mess up or do something wrong or they make a mistake, you don't jump on and say, oh, you failed. You say, no, okay, you tried. Here's a better way to do it. That's how you teach them. You know, that's how you do it. Or if you're on a job or something, you know, training somebody or whatever you're doing. You know, I'm known for talking about body game and lifting and everything. Oh yeah, like anybody was lifting correctly the very first time around, you know? And you know what I said, very few people get stuff right the first time. I take that back. First time I ever used chopsticks, I got it right the first time. So, but well, let's be real, for the most part though, we all have to learn. You just learn, you know? You learn how to do better. You learn how to be better. I don't care what it is, whether you're cooking, you working out, you going through school. Shoot, I remember in college, there were a couple times I got very low grades on a test, extremely low. But then the very next test, I get an A. My grandmother had pointed that out, rest her soul. She said, you know, you always go from she said F to A, but the same difference. Low score, because I say, well, okay, hold up. I failed, or I got a low score on that test. All right, that means I have to change how I study. I have to change how I'm doing this because I don't want to get it again. You know, plus I had a partial scholarship. I kind of had to get it together. So that was the thing, though. That was the thing. And that's just going through life. That's what life is. Life is a big classroom. Seriously, it's a classroom. You know, none of us are perfect. If any one of y'all can walk on water, please show me. Send me a video, show me you walking on water and proof that you're not walking on a board. Seriously, if you're not at that level where you can walk on water, then you got something to learn. Even at my age now, I don't act like I got everything together. More than a lot of people, but I'm like, oh, I can do a little bit better. I can make more money. I can work to get in even better shape, to get even healthier, you know? I can make amends for any wrongdoing I've done. I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I tell people, if I can't, I always say, I can't explain quantum physics in Mandarin. So that means it's just those two things, quantum physics. First, I gotta learn that. Then I gotta learn Mandarin to explain it. And then even if I get to that point, then it's like, well, maybe I can learn how to speak it in Tree. That's a language from Ghana. It's like, oh, got some more to do. There's always something, you know? But when you have a failure at anything, just learn from it. Sit back and learn from it. Don't make the same mistake twice. Learn the lesson. Don't even see them as failures. I mean, I say failures to get your attention, but it's really just a lesson. Learn the lesson. And then when the same situation come around, you know what to do. And even if you were to maybe even have a failure with that, it's not going to be the same failure if you learn. It'll just be something different. But learn that lesson, you know? Learn that lesson. Just keep going. Keep working on yourself. Keep rising. All right? So y'all have a great day today. And you know what? Let's make 2023 the year of triumph for everyone. Peace and blessings, everyone.